welcome to day one of Desire Redefined. I am so glad you're here. So if you're hopping on, if you're here live or on the replay, say hello. And if you're on the replay, let me know with a hashtag replay so that way I can come back, because this is all about connection and conversation. And I'm so excited for these 3 days, and we get to dive into desire and our sexual selves and really creating a sense of knowing inside of yourself and with your sexual self that feels good and feels comfortable and feels expansive and so amazing. Nancy, hello, beautiful. Ooh, I love the flowers. And I saw you just woke up all the way from Australia. So you said 6 a.m. Thank you for waking up for me so early. I love it. Getting your day started, which is amazing. So we are here for 3 full days, and I was going to just do a 1-day class of this Desire Redefined, but as I was really writing out and planning of how I really wanted to show up for you and what information I wanted to provide for you, I was like, there is no way this is going to fit into just 1 day. So we get 3 days, which is really amazing. So just a few housekeeping things before we jump in is, one, we have the 3 days. You'll see the events, they are posted in the discussion below. So if you haven't seen those yet, you'll see the times that are there for you. And if you can't make it live, that is totally okay. It's best if you can make it live. That way we can have a conversation. And if you have any questions that pop up for you, you can ask them in real time, which is really nice. But if this is on replay for you, or if you're watching this after the fact, that's okay. You're still going to get a ton of value from this. But go into the events section and see when those times are. Really commit to this, put it into your calendar, really show up to this program as if you were paying for it, because I'm going to give you the goods here. I'm going to give you a lot. Again, I was going through everything I wanted to tell you, and I was like, dang, okay, I should be charging for this, and this is why after this I will be packaging this up and selling it to future amazing, wonderful ladies. So you get this for freezies right now, which is my gift for you and for yourself, showing up and saying yes, which is so wonderful. So get into the event section, put it in your calendar so you can show up, and we'll have these 3 days. So here in the States, it's Monday, and I think in Australia, you guys are on Tuesday already. But what that means is you will have access to this group. I was going to say Friday, but I decided to do it for, until Saturday. So I'm going to give you until Saturday, which is then Sunday actually for you ladies in Australia, because I wanted to give at least one weekend day for you to play catch up, because there's a lot of information in here and I want to make sure you get the value out of it. Until at the end of Saturday, this whole group is just it's going to collapse down. It's going to poof, go away, and it's all going to be done. And we're going to move on to the next piece. So if you have any questions on that, let me know. Yep. Tuesday here. Yes, exactly. Which is so hard sometimes figuring out the time zones, especially at the opposite side of the world. So hello from Colorado. So we have, so that's some housekeeping. And also this space here, I am going to be very protective over it. You are entering into a safe container, because we are talking about sex. We are talking about desire. We are talking about our sexual selves. And it's a very vulnerable conversation. It's a conversation that so many of us don't have very often or never have had. So I'm going to be very protective over this space. So if I see anybody showing up with aggressiveness or negativity, any of those pieces, I'm going to boot you out. I don't really have any tolerance for that. And I know the people I call into my world are amazing and wonderful, but I just want you to know that I'm going to be keeping my eye on this group to make sure that it stays safe and cozy and comfortable. Yes, good timing after my recent breakup. Yes, sending you so much love. And this is going to be, it is good timing. It's always good timing to focus on ourselves and learn more about ourselves. So I'm so glad you're here, Nancy. And hello, Shala from San Diego. So we got everyone all over the world here. So if you just hopped on, say hello, welcome. And So this is a safe container for you, and I've been doing this for I've been talking about pleasure and our authentic selves and our sexual self and how we relate to our what I like to call our innermost desire and that sexual part of ourselves, and how we relate to it within ourselves, and also how do we share that with others? How do we share our sexual self and within our desire? How do we do that in a way that actually is good and healthy and feels authentic to us? And so because I've been doing this for 8 years, I know a lot, and I also love this topic. So I'm gonna probably at some point get pretty fired up and passionate, because this is not probably, I definitely will, and I already have my tissues, because I'm probably gonna tear up and cry. So get some tissues if you need to. Make sure you have a pen or a pencil and a journal to take some notes, because I'm gonna ask you to do some reflective pieces, and there will be homework. So this is just like a little mini program to really get you activated, to really get you activated in a good way, to start shifting the focus to you and how you want your sexual self to show up. So I'm so excited. And I have my notes off here to the side, because I get so excited sometimes I need to like rein myself in to make sure I'm telling you all the pieces I want to. But I know and I trust that you'll get everything that you need here, and it's going to be fantastic. So I know a lot of you ladies are already in my world already. So if you have been in my world a while, how long have we known each other? Let me know. How long have we known each other? And if you are totally, completely new to my world, welcome. I'm so excited. I'm just going to give you just a teeny little blip about me, and then we're going to move on to the good stuff, because this is not all just about me. This is about you. But as I said, I've been doing this for over 8 years. I have my doctorate in human sexuality. I've helped hundreds and hundreds of women and couples in this area, and I exclusively work with women now, and I absolutely love it. I have my license as a licensed professional counselor. I'm not going to be giving any therapeutic or counseling support or service here. I'm purely online coach, and so giving you information. So I just want to preface that, because I still have and hold my license for that, which means to get your license here in Colorado, it means you had to have at least 2,000 hours working with people. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. I know my stuff. Yes, Jennifer, you've been in my world since September. I love it. Which is, what are we at right now? We're in November. So September and then November. So I love when new people come into my world, and people who've been in my world for a while. It's amazing. And this piece here of really talking about our sexual self, and before that too, I just want to let you know as well. So I'm in Colorado in the States. I live with my husband, Paul, and we've been together a while. We're at over 5 years now. Married for a year and a half. So sometimes time is weird right now, isn't it? And I have my 2 pups, Sherlock and Ellie. So I'm just chilling here in Colorado and get to touch base with all you ladies all over the world, and it just lights me up. So, ladies, before we really dive into the meat of this, I asked you as you entered into this group, which I'm going to take just 1 second just to make sure that there's no one else that is wanting to. Oh, yep, we have one more lovely gal wanting to come in. Let me make sure she pops in. I am glad I checked. Perfect. I just wanted to make sure everyone, any last minute gals who are coming in, got to come in. But I asked you, what is your biggest struggle when it comes to the sexual side of things and your desire and really your sexual self? And the reason I asked you that is because I want you to start thinking about, what is your struggle, but then also, and this is something we'll talk about here in just a little bit, is what you want your sexual self to show up as. This whole program is about redefining your desire, meaning redefining it in a way that feels good for you. I am all about authenticity, showing up as you, and being comfortable with vulnerability, which is, it's vulnerable to show up as ourselves. And especially sexually is like, it's like the most extreme amount of vulnerability that we can do, because we are not only sharing our hearts, but we're sharing our bodies as well, which we'll talk about the heart piece on day 3. but it's a big thing for a lot of us. And especially if we've never really talked about it, or if we don't have a safe place to really explore this part of ourselves, then what we keep doing is actually what we've been handed in growing up and all the shoulds around our sexual self. So I'm curious, ladies, right now, how are you even feeling about talking about your sexual self? What is kind of the forefront feeling that you have? Are you feeling like super excited? You're so excited that you signed up for this and you're here and you're like, heck yes, whoa, let's freaking do this. Are you kind of fearful? Are you a little nervous right now? Like, well, what are we going to talk about? Like, even though you said yes to this and you are here right now, and so many women could have said yes to this, but they didn't. You did. So you said yes for a reason, but also there can be a lot of feelings that come up for us to even begin talking about this stuff. So I just want to kind of get a thermometer. Hi, Sheila. How are you, lovely? Yes, Charlotte, curious vibe. I love that. And curious is good. Curiosity keeps things open, right? Curiosity means we can open up our minds, well, really our mind, our body, and our hearts, which is our 3 days that we're going through, to really look at, okay, what haven't I known or learned about desire and my sexual self that I want to incorporate and embody into my world? Because really with anything that we do, but especially our sexual selves, we get to treat things like a buffet where we get to take what we want, what's yummy for us, and we get to leave the rest. Like if there's olives at a buffet, I'm totally leaving that because I don't like olives. They like make me sick. Or maraschino cherries. Don't like the maraschino cherries. They always make me puke, even though I've tried it a few times throughout the years. And as I've grown up, still just makes me puke. So I'm going to leave the maraschino cherries and the olives at the buffet, but I'm going to take some other yummy stuff. But maybe you like olives. But we'll talk about, what you get to take for you. But curiosity can be such a good thing. And I just want you to know that whatever you're feeling is completely normal and fine. Curious, excited, a little nervous, a little like, oh, what the heck are we going to talk about? You might even be a little scared because as we open into who we are sexually, it can be scary sometimes to explore that piece and start to really question how we've done things so far. So approaching things from what can I take with me from this? If I give you just one thing that you take with you, that's that new yummy buffet item into your sexual world that you can really take so that you can show up more easily, more authentically, how you want to in your sexual self. If there's even just one shift for you, I've done my job here. Totally have done my job. So we want to make sure that we are keeping an open mind, even if we're scared, a little nervous, maybe excited. Just keep an open mind as best as you can. Yes, Jennifer, I'm relieved and open. Ooh, relieved. I love that. I've been struggling with my specific block and trying to find avenues to recode that part of me. I love that. And I love how you said relieved, because when we start to take action and find, see, now I'm already going to start tearing up. When we find someone to help support us in the direction that we want to go, even if we don't know how to go in the direction we want, we just know we want to generally go over here and feel better about intimacy with a partner, intimacy with ourselves, just feel better about pleasure and desire and things inside the bedroom and our sexual self, all those pieces. To have somebody to support you in that is so important. And that's why I do what I do. And so often it can be relieving that, okay, finally, there's someone I could talk to about this. Finally, there's some support that I can get. Finally, I'm taking good action on this. And I tell you, so many people are not trained in this stuff, and they know some pieces. Like even a lot of coaches and therapists and people who have really good hearts, they're not trained in this side of things. So not to never ever put anything down, but this is like my specialty. This is at the heart of the things that I have. So it lights me up. It lights me up, Jennifer, that you're relieved and open and you get to shift this part. And I want to even just say, ladies, how proud I am. How so proud I am of you for saying yes to this. You already, and we haven't even started, you already have taken action to move toward and say yes to your authentic sexual self, and move toward how your soul, your highest self, how you want to show up sexually, not how you should. You've already taken action to do that. If you think about it for a second, you're not just poof here watching this right now, whether you're here live or you're on the replay or later when this is going to be sold as a nice little mini program. You saw a post that I did. You went, ooh, interesting. You asked for the link. That's 2 steps. You clicked on the link. You then put in your email. No, before that you put in your email and then you hit yes, please. And then you had to go to your email and then confirm your subscription with my email. 5 steps already that you've taken toward your authentic sexual self. And we aren't even all the way through. And then you confirm your subscription and you got the email. You open up the email. It's 6, 7, you opened up the email, and then you had to click the link to get into the Facebook group, and then you had to answer those questions that I put in. Then you had to actually then show up here today, whether it's live or on the replay, to watch this video. And you had to hit, okay, view, and now you're sitting here. That's more than 10 actions that you have already taken. So I just want you to really sink that into yourself and own that, and do a little woo-hoo if you can, and even just internally just go, heck yes, look at me already stepping more toward my empowered sexual self. That is huge. And there's so many ladies. There are over 20 ladies that said yes to the email and got the email, and they didn't hit the link to get into the group to then come into here. So you're already down the yes path a lot more, which is, it's something to be really proud of. I can't emphasize that enough. And cheers. I always usually have my fancy glass. So let's dive into the mind piece. So the mind is such a powerful thing. And I even kind of tease with that, with thinking about, wow, look at me. I've already done more than 10 steps toward my sexual self. I've already taken action. This is you really accessing your mind in a positive way, in a way that supports you and your sexual self and how you want your desire and intimacy, all those pieces, how you want to be showing up. In our minds, if you read one of my posts that I did, and this is so important, our minds is one of our biggest sex organs that we have, because our mind, what it can do is it can either restrict us or it can support our sexual self. So it creates almost like this cage of expectations, this cage of shoulds, this cage of just all this pressure that gets put on, all of these restrictive expectations, which what it does is it goes like this. It just closes things off, and then your sexual self, guess how she's going to be showing up? Not with freedom at all. And if I could have played the Kygo song Freedom when we started this, although I can't anymore because good old Facebook doesn't like us doing copyrighted music, which I totally understand and respect the artists, but the song Freedom by Kygo is so beautiful because it's just freedom, and we want to have our sexual selves to be free to show up how this part of you wants to show up, because our sexual selves and how the mind and the messages that we have and the beliefs that we have about how sex is, how we view pleasure, how we view sex, how we view just this part of ourselves really dictates how we show up. Are we going to show up in freedom where we're it's almost like a dance floor where it's supportive and it's open and it supports our sexual self with these beliefs and thoughts and how we view in our minds our sexual self and our desire that we have and how we relate to others in that? Or is it restricted? And I am going to say already, I know that if you're here, your sexual self is feeling restricted in some way. Would that be fair to say, ladies? Because really, honestly, even my sexual self sometimes gets restricted because we have so many pressures and expectations that to untangle and get them out, it's a process, right? And you know that this development of process and who we are and how we want to show up and undoing right? Jennifer, as you said, this recoding ourselves, rewiring our mind to be supportive of our authentic sexual expression that feels good and pleasurable and amazing and free and like you can dance around and be yourself. That it takes rewiring to do. It takes a process. And so our minds, when we look into that, we want to look at, okay, what is actually restricting ourselves? So there's a lot of kind of general global pieces that actually impact negatively our sexual expression of ourselves. And we'll get into, and these pieces all thread together, even though today we're talking about the mind, tomorrow about the body, and then our third day we're talking about the heart. They're all connected, right? It's a holistic piece of how our full self, our authentic sexual self shows up. So we're going to have some blending that happens. There's no way I'm going to be able to just talk about the mind today or just talk about the body tomorrow and the heart. It all integrates, but these 3 days are going to build on each other. Shala, yes, I would like one day a week to lay in bed with my hubby and not get dressed and just feel into the luxury of sexiness. Oh my goodness, I love that. Yes, so there is, if that's what you would like, right? If we think about what we would like, how we would like to show up sexually, which we'll really explore towards the end of today. And we'll be here just, even though we're almost already halfway in or half an hour in, we're going to be here about an hour or a little bit more. So if you have to hop off or hop on at any time, this will be replay for you in the unit section. So you can always come back to this video. So if we think about like, Shala, when you said, I would like one day a week to lie in bed with my hubby, not get dressed, just feel into the luxury of sexiness. We want to look at, okay, what is blocking this experience from happening? And the thing is, it's very easy, and we're not going to get so much in partnership stuff today. We'll talk about that on day 3, but it all kind of blends in. But we have to be careful that our mind doesn't go into pointing fingers at our partner that this is all their fault. Like if they would just initiate sex more, or if they would just say yes more, or if they wouldn't pressure me so much. And, there's all this blame that can happen on the other person. But the only control that you have is you. The only shifts that you can create is inside of you. We cannot, we have influence and impact on other people, but it starts with the shifts and the change inside of us. So if you want to change within yourself and in relationship, if you are partnered, it starts with you. This is why we focus on here. So we want to look at what beliefs in your mind is restricting this expression of your sexual self, the desire of like the luxury of sexiness, Shala, that you have. So we want to look first, and it's very, as I was saying a little bit before, it can be very general. There's a lot of pieces that apply to a lot of women in the years that I've been doing this that I've seen as very common just negative beliefs that we're holding on to about how we should show up sexually with ourselves and with a partner. So I'm going to go through some of those here, but just know that because you are a very unique woman, there is nobody like you, nobody at all like you, and how your sexual self likes to show up, it's unique to you, right? You're your own like sexual snowflake here. So we got to figure out how you would like to show up and has that part of you feel so free, right? And get into the of connection and pleasure rather than the and restriction and frustration. So one of the biggest pieces that I see in the way of the negative beliefs, it's almost like, I almost want to call them like myths that we have. It's the things that wiggle their way into our minds. It's like this little wiggly thing into our subconscious mind about how we should show up sexually. What's the expectations? What's the pressure? What is how you should do things? And what happens is that comes from our parents, it comes from society, it comes from culture, it comes from religion, it comes from movies. We get so much shit about how our sexual self should be showing up that we don't realize oftentimes that all of those beliefs get wiggled into our minds and sits into our subconscious mind, and then we start acting and behaving from these beliefs that we have. So we have to look at, okay, what are you holding on to right now that is not serving you? And the easiest way that we can look at to see if a thought in your mind and a belief feels good or doesn't feel good, or if it's a one that you want to hold on to or not hold on to, is just if it feels good or if it not feels good. So a negative belief of how you should show up usually feels this. It's restrictive, it's small, it's pressure, it's like anxiety, it's like, ugh, this feels not good. It's the out of alignment with who you are. If you think of your highest self and who you are, which is your soul, your highest self, and your sexual self acts from your highest self. If you're in alignment with that about how your snowflake sexual self wants to show up, and you're in alignment with that, there's not going to be any tension. There's not going to be any resistance. There's not going to be there's no expectations or shoulds, or you don't have to be a certain way or do a certain thing. You just get to be you. So when we're just being ourselves in anything that we do, there's no resistance. We're in alignment. But when we start to do these expectations and we start to have these pressures, then we're starting to get away from our highest self and how our soul wants to show up in everything that we do, including our sexual self. And we're stepping way out of here, then we're misaligned, and that's when there's so much tension, frustration, anxiety, things like depression come up. It's just bad news bears, and we don't want that to happen. So we want to bring things back in alignment, and so we got to extract these negative beliefs that have popped up and have infiltrated into your mind. Whether we want them to be there or not, they are unfortunately there. So one of the things that pops up a lot is this expectation that when we are, like, I almost think of, Carissa, hello, beautiful, I'm out of alignment. And that's okay. We just become aware of it. That's the beauty. When we are aware of these things, we can start shifting. We get to shift to how we want to. So this is, as Shala, you had said before, curious, and Jennifer, you said open. We get to go, I've been doing it this way. How interesting. This is how that I want to do it. But we don't want to beat ourselves up for having been out of alignment. We don't want to beat ourselves up for that, because there's no point in doing that. What we want to do is go, oh, interesting. This is the belief, this is how I have been showing up, and I want to start shifting that. I'm going to start being in alignment with my highest self, my soul, and how I want to be showing up. And so I think of, Shala, when you said, and I love how you laid this out, I just want to lay in bed with my hubby and not get dressed, just feel into that sexiness, feel into that experience. What happens a lot of time in relationship, and this is one of the biggest restrictions on our pleasure and our experience and our sexual self and our desire that we have. Yes, don't beat yourself up for being out of alignment. No, we don't need to do that. We might do that sometimes. There are times that I beat myself up, but then I catch myself. I'm like, no, we don't need to do that. We can come back to ourselves and what's my next step here, all right? So if we think about kind of lying in bed, Shala, if you're in bed with your hubby, or we even imagine, and you can use past relationships too. So if you don't have a relationship right now, if we think of past relationships, oftentimes what happens is there can be this pressure and expectation that if clothes come off, or if we are intimate with a partner, then it has to be the whole shebang of sex, is what I like to call it. There's this pressure of, well, if we start cuddling naked up in bed, then does it feel like this has to go somewhere, that there's strings attached here, that there is an expectation that this has to be more. And the thing is, oftentimes we're not putting that expectation on our partner, or our partner is not putting it on us, but we have this belief in our mind that, seriously, how many movies have you seen where there's a sex scene, even if we don't see all the juicy pieces, you know the pathway that we're supposed to go through, and the end goal is orgasm. There's this pressure that it has to be the whole shebang of sex and it has to end in orgasm. So then a kiss is no longer just a kiss, or a naked luxury cuddleness in bed. It doesn't get to be a naked luxury cuddleness in bed, because there's put this expectation around it from in our mind, or even in our partner's mind. So understanding this can be really helpful in partnership and in future partnership too. because knowing that this often is a wiggly mind myth, negative belief that gets put into our mind, we can understand that this might be activating. It might be active in your sexual self and in the sexual intimacy in a partnership. So if there's all this pressure, right, even if it's unspoken pressure, but we see in movies that, okay, when they like come in through the front door, they're like kissing and making out against the wall or something like that, and then shoes and clothes come flying off, which is ridiculous because it takes me more than 30 seconds to take off my shoes anyways. So the shoes and clothes come flying off, and then they're like in bed, they're passionately making out, and then it's like pan scene to they're all sweaty, and then afterwards somebody rolls off of somebody and there's this big sigh, which like definitely shows, okay, we had orgasm at the same time, no doubt. And this is what a sexual experience looks like. Pornography supports that too. We see it everywhere. So what happens is if we feel that there are strings attached, that a kiss can't just be a yummy kiss with a partner, or a cuddle in bed can't just be a cuddle in bed, it has to lead someplace else. Our sexual self can start to get restrictive, or even our partner's sexual self can get restrictive because there feels like there's all these expectations and it might go further than I want it to. Maybe I just want to play in the cuddle in bed, but I don't want to have it go anywhere. So one of the things is we want to switch this belief that we're not going to focus on the pressure of the whole shebang of sex every single time. Yes, you made me laugh out loud. It definitely takes more than 30 seconds to get my shoes off. Yes, and I have, because this is part of my job, timed those sex scenes on some of those shows and movies. It literally is, from start to finish, 60 seconds. It's like, what is that movie? Gone in 60 Seconds? It's like, yeah, the sexual intimacy that's there, it's like all in 60 seconds, which is just crazy. There's no way. There's no way, because then there's no time for play. So this is where, when we have this pressure mindset of what sexual intimacy is supposed to look like, that this is what it has to look like, then we are restricted by all of these rules and all of these pressures, and it has to lead a certain where, and it prevents us from actually showing up how we want to, which the way that you want to. And the way that is so honoring of your sexual self is following the pleasure, following the fun, following the juiciness of the experience. But if we feel like it has to look a certain way, be a certain way, that it has to lead, that if we kiss our partner, that it has to lead all the way to penetration, and that we have to have an orgasm, that there's so much expectation. It's like, no wonder your sexual self doesn't want to come out and play. Or, and we'll talk about this in the heart piece, sometimes your sexual self can really easily come out and play, but not with heart and emotions with it. It's like we lead with our bodies. And I used to be like this, but we'll talk about that on day 3. But when we have, right, these pressure and expectations, you have to look at, okay, what is in my mind about how I feel sex should be, how I feel I should be in sex, how I feel, how I've been told about sex in general. So this is where a piece, even in our growing up, religion, nothing against religion. I think religion is wonderful and supportive, and spirit, all these pieces, amazing. But one of the things is, unfortunately, so much of gets delivered around the suppression of our sexual selves. And especially if you're in a country like in the United States, we're a very Puritan type country, which is very restrictive of anything that has to do with pleasure, anything that has to do with feelings, anything that has to do with our expression of ourselves, anything that has to do, really pleasure, anything that's pleasurable, because things have to be productive. And this goes into, which we're not going to go full blown into this mini program here about feminine energy and masculine energy, but to be in, we'll talk a little bit about it tomorrow on day 2, but we want to really be able to open ourselves up, which means focusing on the pleasure of things. What is pleasurable about this experience of connecting? But if we don't focus on the pleasure and the fun and the connectiveness, then we're doing this. We're covering things up. And because a lot of suppression of expression has happened a lot with the beliefs that get handed to us from, again, religion and culture and our parents, and our parents have been handed stuff from them, really shit. It's like a shit recipe about how our sexual selves are allowed to show up. There's all these rules and restrictions. You're not allowed to have sex unless you're in marriage. You're not allowed to have there's so many different things. So if anything that pops up for you, I'm curious, let me know in the comments, how were you told about how you should show up sexually? It's okay to, and this is the hard thing, again, you can't have sex unless it's in marriage, which means if you do have sex outside of marriage, if this is a belief that was handed to you, now you feel guilty, now you feel shameful. And because you've restricted your sexual self so much, all of a sudden when you get married, your sexual self is all of a sudden expected to just come out and play. I don't think so. That part of you is like, I don't know, you've been shutting me down for years and years and years. I don't even know how to come out and play. So we want to look at what have we been handed? What has been the recipe about how your sexual self is supposed to show up? Yes, Jennifer, this is exactly the opposite of what I want. Yes, 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 yes. And that's the thing, is we get handed these things and then it runs in our subconscious, right? Of like, sex has to lead to orgasm. No. We just follow the pleasure. That's what we get to do. Or sex has to lead to, or sexual intimacy has to lead to penetration. No. It doesn't have to. Or sex has to happen in this certain context. Or even, right? Even our bodies have to look a certain way, or we can't come out and play in pleasure land. Bullshit. Our bodies get to be how our bodies are, and we'll talk a lot about this tomorrow, and we still get to show up in pleasure and play. It doesn't matter if you got rolls on your stomach. It doesn't matter if you haven't showered in 3 days and your hair's all messed up. That doesn't matter. It only matters if we think it matters, and we only think it matters because we got told that it matters, that we have to look a certain way, we have to be perfect, and we can only show up in a certain context. There's like no room for fun and spontaneity at all in our sexual self. And your sexual self wants to come out and play. It's all about play. Literally, the sexual world is like the adult playland. That instead of in kidland play and all those things, we get to do it in like the bedroom or wherever it happens, couch, shower, in your backyard, who knows? But it's our version of play that we get to have. Yes, what a relief. A kiss can just be a kiss. Yes, and how you said that, you want to believe in these new beliefs. This is where the shift gets to happen. You extract what no longer fits for you. You have to look at, okay, what is the recipe that I've been given about how I should be? And then you look at it and then you go, okay, does this feel good? Does this feel good? Does this feel good? If the answer is no, we extract, we take it out, and then we get to pull in the stuff that is good, right? Ooh, intimacy gets to be for pleasure. Pleasure is fun. We get to play. It's all about play, not about, it has to go anywhere or lead anywhere, right? There's no purpose for being in our sexual self. It's all play. There's no purpose. This is why it becomes restricted, and this is why almost in the masculine driven world, it's like, oh, no, we can't do that because it's not productive. It's just for funsies, it's just for pleasure, and it's just for the connection, and not just, but there's no doing, there's no end goal, there's none of that. We just get to play and explore and express and get to be in the fun of the pleasure of it. So yes, a kiss, can you imagine if you really leaned into a kiss without having to be anything else, that you got to feel the full expression of that pleasurable experience all the way to the end of that connection with somebody? How amazing and delicious and delightful that gets to be, rather than saying, no, I'm not even going to do a kiss because I'm afraid it's going to go someplace else, or I'm not going to lean into this kiss because it's not enough, because it's not penetration or orgasm or anything like that. No. A kiss is, it can be so delicious and delightful. Yes. Hold on, give me a minute. Jennifer, been married, now divorced. Me too. I've been divorced as well. Don't desire a partner, want to feel the deeper connection, which is so the opposite of what we are told. Yes, want to feel the deeper connection. And again, you get to be you get to be the guider of you. You get to write the rule book for you. Whatever works for you. And you are different than me. That is different from any of the other ladies watching this right now. You get to decide. But we look at the recipe, and if we don't look at what we've been handed and we keep operating in this subconscious way, because what happens is we get past beliefs and then they sink into our subconscious mind, and we don't realize that they're functioning there. But even in this class, I want to bring it to the surface, because when you bring it to the surface, you have awareness around it. And when you have awareness around it, you get to use your conscious brain to actually shift it to what feels good, which takes practice, because to rewire our brain, to use like 5% of our brain, our conscious brain, to rewire the other 95% that it's been in habit and behavior over years and years and years, it's going to take some time. Luckily, it's not a one for one. Thank goodness, right? We can shift things at a more exponential rate because we're actually consciously doing it rather than it just kind of wiggling itself in there. We get to be the active creators of our sexual self. We get to be in charge of that. Nobody else. Nobody else. And how this part of you wants to come out and play. Yes, Saturday night, dinner out, and see when we get home. Boring. Total mind block. Boring. Yes. And Sheila, tell me what feels boring about that. Saturday night, dinner out, and see when we get home. Total mind block. And this is what our minds do. It blocks so many things. And I know there's a lot of you ladies here too that had mentioned of getting so up in your mind. And this is one of those things that can actually prevent you from really fully coming out and play with your sexual self. And remember, this doesn't have to just be with a partner. This is with you too, right? With your personal pleasure and your play, your pleasure fun that you get to have with yourself. Is our minds can either block us or it can support us. So if our mind is in, worried mode that, oh my gosh, my body has to look a certain way, then you're, as I like to call it now, you're pussy blocking yourself, because you're not allowing yourself and your full power and your expression of yourself to come out because your mind is blocking it. Or if you're worried about it leading somewhere, then your mind is blocking it. Or if you feel that, oh my gosh, is there something wrong with me because I only desire to have sex, once, who knows, whatever time frame, there's nothing wrong with you. This is one of a big thing too. A lot of times we fear that we're not normal in our sexual self. And I tell you right now, even if there's not a whole bunch of pieces I know about you personally, you're normal. You're okay. You've just been given shit about how you need to show up sexually. That's the not normal thing. You are normal. The rules you have been given, not so much. Yes, have no desire to shack up. That's okay. That is totally okay. But we get to shift that, so you get to move it into your desire about how you want to. And this is the thing, is if we have all these expectations, again, about how we're supposed to show up, and our mind is trying to restrict our sexual self, then of course we're not going to want to show up and play. Then there's too many rules. Yes. Yeah, Saturday night, dinner out, and when you get home, I will resist. Mine kicks in with all the shoulds, resistance at times. Yes. So this gets to be a matching pussy blocking. Get it now? Exactly. So we get to imagine, okay, how would it be if I allowed myself to go with the flow about how I want to show up sexually? And this is the thing, especially for us women, how your sexual self wants to show up today might be very different than tomorrow. It might be very different than the next day. We are always evolving. We are always shifting. We are always changing. We are always ebbing and flowing, right? And like literally flowing if we have our moon, our menstrual cycle that's there. So there's always these shifts. This is why we always want to check in with ourselves about, how do I desire to show up? And what would it be like if I allowed myself to play in that way and not follow the shoulds and the expectations, and remove the worry and get to just show up and be me? And I know this is a lot easier said than done, because to just be me and you be you, we're taught how not to be ourselves in so many different ways. So many different ways. You have to look a certain way. You have to do a certain thing. You have to behave in a certain way. Again, so many restrictions. So it's going to take some time to unshackle yourself from all of these shoulds and restrictions that you have had and that have been created in your mind that is then blocking, which we'll talk tomorrow about how that actually impacts your body and how your body physically shows up in the desire and the physical responses and all those pieces that you have. Yes, Jennifer, then throw in the anxious attachment to a specific person to get that feeling of connection. And this, we'll talk about this on the third day. This used to be me up the wazoo, even in at the very beginning of my relationship with my husband now, Paul. I would use sex as a way to feel connected, to feel externally validated, to make sure, oh, if we have sex, that means I'm important enough to you. And if I'm important enough to you, then you love me. And if you love me, you won't leave me. And if you don't leave me, I'm not going to be abandoned. And I don't want that to happen because I've had that up the wazoo when I was a kid. So I'm going to actually use my sexual self to feel externally validated and loved. So that wasn't really supportive of my sexual self. That's not really how she wanted to come out and play this part of me, right? And if you're kind of getting, we have different parts inside of ourselves. So we want to really see, okay, how are we expecting this part of you to show up? And is it feel good? Is it in a healthy way? Is it feel right in alignment with yourself? Or are we hiding our sexual self, or are we kind of throwing it out at people to try to make sure that they love us and that we're validated? So we're not going to go full into that right now, but I get it. I've been there, totally been there. Yes. The pussy blocking is just so funny. Yes, the mind work. Yes, exactly. Nika, hey girl, how are you? Hello. And yes, and if you're hopping on here later, the replay will be here until Saturday, so you can rewatch all these pieces. So when it again comes to our mind, we look in, all right, what are the expectations? What is being held in here? And what are we telling ourselves? What are you telling yourself about your sexual self? Are you saying, sometimes we're even told back in the day growing up that pleasure is bad and we're not allowed to, receiving is bad. Even if we think of outside of the bedroom, can you receive a compliment from anybody? Whether it's a partner, I don't know, your mom gives you a compliment, or even some stranger at Starbucks who says, oh my gosh, that dress is amazing. You look absolutely beautiful in it. Do you receive that? Or do you block it and go, no, this old thing, I got it at Target like years ago or whatever. We block even the receiving of the delicious, pleasurable compliments that we get from people. And so if we have this belief that no, it's selfish to say, or it's bad of me to acknowledge that I do look good in this, or to receive that, if we have that mentality around it, then how do you think that's going to impact your sexual self? Because pleasure is at the heart of your sexual self. It is like pleasure is the heartbeat of your sexual self. And if we don't allow ourselves to open up to pleasure, to receive pleasure, and to be able to experience that and to know that it is okay, that it's not wrong, that anything associated with pleasure, like our bodies in of itself, like the clitoris, the only purpose is for pleasure. We are built on pleasure. Our heartbeat and our core is on pleasure, but then we cover it up. We cover it up and hide it because it's somehow bad and wrong, or even dirty or bad. If we even think about our genitals, so much gets said about how it's supposed to look like, and if our genitals look a certain way, or there's different smell or something, that somehow that's bad or that's wrong. No, you are you, and there is nothing wrong with you. Again, the shit and crap about how you've been told that you need to be and look and behave and show up in this world, inside the bedroom and out, that's the thing that's wrong, not you. There's nothing wrong with you. Nothing, I promise. Yes, I grew up taking in those religious beliefs, suppressing my sexual desires the best I could. Yeah, because we want, as kids especially, we want to do everything we can to, please the authority figures, because they literally are our place of survival. If we don't make mom or dad happy, or whoever is our caretaker, then like our survival as a kid is at stake. So we're going to do everything we can to be in survival mode. But then those pieces keep getting activated, and as we are grown-ass women today, that stuff still sticks around unless we shift it and change it. Your mind is a very powerful thing, and so if your mind is holding on to the negative things, it's going to keep activating that like the engine. But because our mind is so powerful, we get to shift it and actually have it be in service to us and how we want it to be. Yeah, so you did the best you could, and which was a great thing because you were trying to do that, but then it was in the wrong direction, right? My partner was the person who helped me break many of those beliefs and made me feel so attractive and sexy. I love that 6 years later, things have simmered. We love each other so much, but sometimes I struggle to build back up the sexual attraction. And this is going to be a piece. We'll touch on this. Will we touch? I'm going to write that down to make sure that we do. This is a heart piece. We'll talk about this on day 3. But especially in a connection with a partner, if our hearts are feeling resentful toward our partner, or if we're feeling frustrated toward our partner, especially for us women, that's going to be a block to our sexual self, because to be in connection with someone sexually with our bodies, which is one of the most vulnerable places we could go, if our hearts are not feeling so well and feeling a sense of safety, because if you think about it, if like we're literally, we don't always have to open up our legs, because remember, it doesn't have to be to penetration all the time. But if we are, and even if we have a same-sex partner, maybe we're not even doing that, or maybe we are if we have strap-on and toys. And we're not going to talk about toys because that's a whole nother conversation. But if we are feeling some resentment toward our partner, our hearts are going to kind of go like this, and our sexual self is going to go like, heck no, I'm mad at him right now. Do you think I want to go into the bedroom? I don't think so. We need to have an open heart to be able to then open up our sexual self, so they go hand in hand. Yes. We have to have partners that are willing to show up like this also to make it work. Yes. So this is also in a piece of making sure, our focus of mind, body, and heart is who are we actually choosing to be in partnership with. So oftentimes, if you are single right now, if you are dating or want to be dating, or if you're like, I'm not ready for that yet, which is totally fine, you want to look at who you are actually choosing as a partner. Because sometimes what we do is we create our own negative reality, and we might choose people that are actually not really available, and then we become connected and sexually intimate with them, but then they're an avoidant piece, which is a whole other conversation we can't really get into. But then they're not really available, and then we become attached to them, or they're kind of the bad boy. Oh my gosh, I dated so many bad boys back in the day. They're not in support of our highest self. We want to do what's in support of our highest self, and which is our soul, which is in highest self of how our highest self wants to show up sexually. And so that means we might have to say no to some people if we started dating, because we can see that they're not in support of our highest self, maybe a support of your anxious self that would like to have sex with anybody just for that external validation, but that's not going to be in service of your highest self. So partner choice is a big thing too, totally a big thing. And it's always shiftable. We always can shift and change, but only if we want to, right? Yes, my ex-partner completely closed off for me sexually and made me feel rejected. This is what I'm currently moving through. And this was what this can pop up in our minds as well, is if we do get rejected, right? And this is something that is, I'll actually be talking about in my future program that's here. So I'll tell you about some opportunities to work with me. I'll probably highlight it more on day 3, so that way we can really focus on these pieces. But in that program, we talk about how do we make sure that we have these conversations with a partner, and how do we say no in a way that's actually honoring to ourselves and honoring to our partner, so that we don't do a hurt and rejection, because we don't really intend to hurt people, but we sometimes do, because we're not given this stuff. We're not given the tools about how to talk about and have these conversations around the sexual side of ourselves and how we get to play with another. We're just kind of sent out into the wild with all these bad expectations about how we're supposed to show up, and then we expect it's supposed to work and that everything's going to be okay. We're not going to have any arguments, or we're not going to step on each other's toes. No, right? We actually got to get the good recipe of things, right? So sometimes, and then that rejection, what can happen is we can then have a belief in our mind of, oh, there must be something wrong with me, right? Maybe my partner doesn't want to have sex with me because, I must be ugly, or I'm not attractive, or there's something wrong with me, or I have to actually show up perfectly in order for it to work, right? We have all these beliefs in our minds. And so you want to pay attention to what is in your mind, that is blocking you? What are you telling yourself? What is the tape that is happening, that is on repeat in your mind? And you have to pay attention, because sometimes we don't even pay attention to what is in our minds. Again, it just kind of is simmering below the surface in the subconscious. So we want to really bring them up. Yes, this just happened to me. I'm in building myself back up phase. Exactly. And that's part of what we need to do is go, okay, what belief in my mind feels better? What belief in my mind what do I want to believe about my sexual self? What do I want to believe about the sexual intimacy in a relationship? What do I want to believe? What would feel good to me? So we want to extract, all right, all the negatives, right? That, oh, if somebody says no to me for sex, that means that there's something wrong with me. Well, that's not a feel-good belief, is it? What could you shift that to? Somebody saying no to me about sex, there might be something inside of them that, or they just didn't want it at that time, or maybe they felt pressure to do the whole shebang of sex, or maybe they just didn't want to have sex at that time. Sometimes we get caught in these negative cycles, and we might touch on that a little bit on negative 3 on day 3 about the connection and the sexual side of ourselves and how we get in these negative patterns in a relationship. But what do you want to have in your mind that's delicious, so empowering, so supportive of your sexual self, so that you can start rewiring your mind to believe that these are true? Because the thing is, what you hold in your mind is your truth that you keep trying to tell yourself. Even if it's not your truth, your mind keeps trying to tell you it's true. So you have to be very careful of what you are playing in your mind, and to see, okay, what are the negative things? And this is something that I'm going to give you some homework, right? I told you this is like a little mini program, even though this is for free, because I want you to show up and actually do these pieces. Is I want you to look at what are the negative things in your mind that your mind is telling you about how you should show up, what is okay with your sexual expression of yourself. How do you feel toward pleasure? How do you feel about how your desire should show up? So this is another piece about what belief is in our mind, and we'll talk about this in body day number 2. Is for a lot of us women, we are told that if the love was good enough, if we were connected enough with a partner, or if we really loved a partner, or if there was nothing wrong with us, then our sexual self should just easily come out and play all the time. Like with the drop of the hat, like I mentioned before with the movie, like all of a sudden they're just like ripping each other's clothes off, and there's like drippy, like crazy passion that is happening. And if we see that, then we might expect that that's how our sexual self is supposed to show up every single time. And if it doesn't, then there must be something wrong with us. Because, wow, actually my sexual self doesn't, and this is what we're told oftentimes and shown, is that we need to show up with spontaneous desire, is what it's called. That all of a sudden, with spontaneity, your sexual self is all of a sudden supposed to go, woo, yeah, let's have sex right now, or woo, let's go masturbate right now. Like it comes from this very spontaneous thought that I just want to do this. But that only really usually happens at the very beginning of a relationship. And after the hormones of all the excitement at the beginning of the relationship and getting to know each other, all the newness, once that whole cocktail of things go down, then all of those negative beliefs, all those old ways of showing up and doing things start to surface. Life happens, stress happens. And are we expecting that our sexual self is supposed to show up spontaneously every single time? Like, that's a lot of pressure on your sexual self, don't you think? And if you have this expectation in your mind that I should just want to have sex, like, because that's what happens if you love somebody, right? Or if there's nothing wrong with you, you should just want to have sex, and that desire should just spontaneously pop up. And if it doesn't, there's something wrong with me. Or if it doesn't in my partner, there's something wrong with them. So I see this happen so many times in our mind and in our relationship with ourselves and with others, is that we expect all these things of how we should show up, when in reality, it's your sexual self gets to show up how she wants to show up. So just giving yourself permission to do it your way your way, and how your way is going to be very different than my way and anybody else's. To give yourself permission to do that is huge. I just even say, I give myself permission to be me sexually. I give myself permission to do that. You might not know what it looks like right now. This is where kind of the play and exploration gets to come, and how you get to kind of play around with what beliefs you want to believe in about your sexual self and your pleasure. But to first give yourself permission to be you sexually, permission for pleasure, all of these things, you are going to radically shift into a whole different, amazing, beautiful direction. Because the road you've been going on hasn't been working. So we want to shift that into a way that feels good for you, but you get to be in charge of that. Nobody else. Nobody else. And so if we have, right, all these expectations that are there, it becomes overwhelming, and we're then in misalignment that happens. And I want to check my notes real fast, because I know there's one more piece I wanted to make sure I covered today. How you ladies going? We're at an hour. We're probably going to be just a teeny bit longer. But let me know. And if you have any questions that pop up, this is the benefit of being here live, is you get to ask me any of the pieces that come up. So yes. Here's another, oh my gosh, there's so many things that we could eradicate with like myths of things. Like, when it was on Friday, I went to go get a Brazilian wax, which was super fun. I haven't done that in a while. Which is also a place where there can be a lot of shoulds and expectations, because a lot of times there's this expectation that, oh, to be in support of our sexual self, then we need to actually shave everywhere. This is something that I had personally heard a lot growing up. And so now for me, I get to do it how I want to. And ultimately I decided, you know what, I don't really want to do the hair everywhere kind of thing, but that might fit for you, which is fabulous. So I wanted to do the Brazilian wax and not have to shave all the time. So I did that because I desired to do that, not because I should, not because I have to, not because, oh, well, you have to shave everything, otherwise guys are not going to like that, and you can't have a bush because that's bad. That's a bunch of BS. You get to do you, how you want to show up, but you have to check in with yourself. How do I want to show up? And so I went to get a Brazilian wax on Friday, and the gal was telling me, she was like, everyone's always fascinated about the work that I do. I'm fascinated by it. It's like super fun. And she was saying, oh my gosh, this is amazing. And I was actually talking with some girlfriends the other day, and one of the gals kept like, there was so much shame and feeling of wrong, that there's something wrong with her, that she couldn't have orgasm through penetration. And our friends, thank goodness, were like, no, there's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken in any way. Sometimes we get in our mind that we're not normal. There's something wrong with us, and we're broken because we are not showing up how it's been constructed for our sexual self to show up, so we can behave and do, XYZ type of way, and the beliefs that we have in our mind. And this is something that can come in with beliefs around, again, orgasm, that we have to have orgasm every time, otherwise something is wrong with us. Heck no. The peak climactic experience of the sexual connection or the intimate connection that you have with somebody, or even with yourself, doesn't have to be orgasm. It might be, I don't know, without orgasm, but you get to follow the pleasure wherever that goes, with yourself or with a partner. So even if you are doing self-pleasure or masturbation, you don't have to end in orgasm. You can just enjoy and play and, see where the flow and the pleasure goes, right? It doesn't have to go anywhere. You just you just see where the pleasure goes and how much you can explore with that. And same thing with penetration. There are so many women who don't have orgasm with penetration. This has been put onto us by a male-dominated society, because obviously it's good for them. So that, one, this means you're supposed to be in a heterosexual relationship to begin with. Two, that we can only have orgasm through penetration. Three, if we don't, something is wrong with us. And if we do it some other way, then that's not okay. Heck no, right? Our clitoris is like the source of all pleasure, and it's kind of hard to hit the clitoris with the penis on the inside, or even a toy if you're doing toys, or if you have same-sex partner. So if you have orgasm with penetration, great. If you don't, great. You find what works for you. Maybe you need a fun toy. I use a fun toy, right? There's so many things that you get to play. It gets to be played. It gets to be fun. Yes, Nika, yes, I always thought I had to be squeaky clean in order to be accepted. Yep, squeaky clean as in no hair. I totally get you. I felt the same thing too. I believed the same thing too. And this is what happens. We fill in the blanks here. I have to do X in order to be accepted. Because that's at the core of everything. We have all these expectations and shoulds because if we don't follow this, then we're not going to feel loved. We're not going to feel like we're accepted. We're not going to feel like we're enough. We're not going to feel like we're valuable, that we're important. And so we construct ourselves to show up in this way, to follow the rules that we've been given so that we can be accepted, validated, loved, and all these pieces, when really we get to show up how we want to show up. So if you end up at the same location, like for me, I still like to be squeaky clean. I still like to be bare, but I got to that by asking myself, how do I desire to show up in that way? What do I desire to do with my own genitals, right? With my own vulva, my own pussy that's down there. What do I desire to do with that? And being in partnership, I'm going to take into consideration like the thoughts and the opinions of my partner, but ultimately it's up to me. Same thing with you. It's always up to you. But it's very different if it's coming from I desire to be squeaky clean because this feels good for me and it actually supports my sexual self to come up and play a little bit more frisky, rather than I should do it this way. Even if it's the same end result, it's going to have different energy behind it because it's how you desire, right? We're redefining desire, but sexual desire, but also how you desire to show up in this way. You get to ask yourself. You get to do it your way, ladies. You get to do it your way. My partner feels like he has not done his job unless I orgasm, but I don't always feel like orgasm. Yep. So I just fake it and then I feel guilty. So this is the dynamic that so many couples have gotten into. So you are not alone, and there's nothing wrong with you, your partner, nothing. What is wrong is you both have been given this expectation by society that you need to have an orgasm or else there's failure. This is the pressure-ridden type of sexual intimacy, is we have to have it this way or else we failed. And this goes with anything in your life. So even though we're talking about your sexual self right now, this is going to show up outside the bedroom too. Like I talk about inside the bedroom stuff, but it ripples out. If you have a business, this is going to impact your business too. Family, kids, any of those things that if I don't do it up to this expectation, then I failed. There's something wrong with me. And that's bad. When in reality, it's, wait a second, does that feel good? No. Can we look at, as an individual and as a partner, can we collectively decide a new belief for how we want to actually navigate our sexual relationship, that it gets to be, we get to follow the pleasure, and whatever that looks like. And the thing is, a very sneaky thing, if you take orgasm off the table, I used to, when I worked with couples a lot of the time, I would assign them this. I would say, let's just play here. Doctor's orders. Can you maybe for 2 weeks just take orgasm, even penetration, off the table? Just take it off the table for a couple weeks and just find other ways to play and enjoy each other. And what this does, it just takes the pressure off, it takes the expectations off, and it starts to rewire your system and into your body too, which we'll get in tomorrow, is you get to then embody this new way of showing up. And the sneaky thing is, even though orgasm is not the expected end result, the end result that we want, if we need to even have one, is that everyone was satisfied. Like the pleasure was there and this was connecting. If it gets to be satisfying because it's a connecting experience, not because we had orgasm or not. Because if we fail that we didn't have orgasm, then that's an old belief system to have, because it's very goal-driven and failure-driven, masculine-driven, very perfectionism type driven goal stuff that's there. So you get to have, right, you just take it off the table, and then you feel freedom. You feel openness to play and explore and have fun in that pleasure. And when you have openness to play and to have fun in the pleasure, to connect in whatever way that looks, and there's so many different ways that you get to connect and play and have fun and pleasure, like so many different ways, you get to play in that. And then orgasm is more likely to happen because you are relaxed, You release. This is a thing we want to really lean back and let go and be able to have fun and play. And when we do that, then we actually, and I'm already getting ahead of myself into the body piece, but that means then our bodies actually have a lot more ease to experience the pleasure of the orgasm that's there, right? So if we let go and play in the pleasure, you're actually probably going to have more orgasms to begin to happen, even though that's not the end goal, but that's usually what happens. Yes, done his job. Yep, I feel guilty. Got that. So yeah, just tell your mind, if I don't have orgasm, it's okay. It is totally okay. I'm going to follow the pleasure. We're going to follow the pleasure. So we want to find a new mindset that's there. I love that perspective. It's so freeing. I'm so glad, my dear. I'm so going to do that. Love it. I agree. Oh, I'm so glad, ladies. So again, I can't emphasize enough, and I know in just one class here and even in these 3 days, we're just going to be scratching the surface on a lot of these things. And I know each of you are unique in of yourself. And so although I'm telling you a lot of things that I've heard as I've worked with this and, with different women and different couples and, in the desire in your sexual self and how you want to show up, there's going to be kind of global things that I've seen, but also always remember that you are your own unique sexual self. So you get to show up how you want to show up. And so I even want you to ask yourself, and I'm going to give this as homework. I'm going to put a little homework thread up into the group. And again, I want you to really approach this as a program, because this is like a program. We got a little program going on here. Even though it's 3 days, I want you to really take everything out of this experience. And what I want you to do is write down, what are all the negative, icky, this doesn't feel good type of beliefs? All of them. Even if you're like, well, I don't really believe that, but I heard growing up that, actually, women are not, they're meant to be like, they have to be good girls. So I have to be good girl. So I have to be a good girl in the bedroom, when really maybe you actually want to do some fun, wild, like cool stuff in the bedroom, but you're not letting your sexual self do that because you have to be a good girl. So that belief is going to be suppressing your sexual self. So I want you to write down, what do I believe currently that is suppressing my sexual self, that is putting expectations and shoulds? So I should show up this way. I have to do it this way. If I don't have an orgasm, that must be something wrong with me, right? Anything that is just negative, icky, that this doesn't feel good. It almost has like the taste in your mouth that you like, like this is, I don't like this. I don't like this. Because that is where you want to then shift. You get to go down the line. Like, do I want to believe this anymore? No. So then you want to then write out, the second piece is write out, what do you want to believe? Because you get to be the creator of your own sexual self. And as you access your highest self of, this is how I want to show up. I want to show up and I want to believe my sexual self. I get to believe that following the pleasure, that's the focus I want to have. That no matter what my body looks like, I still get to experience and express my sexual self and feel all the pleasure. That there has never been anything wrong with me sexually. Never. Even if there's been expectations on me, that sex is safe. A lot of times we didn't even touch onto that piece, but a lot of times in our mind we can tell ourselves that sex isn't safe if we've had sexual traumas or negative things that have happened in our past. We can believe, our belief in our mind is that sex is bad, sex is wrong, sex is not safe, that I can't show up in the way I want to sexually. There's all different things, right? We could go down the full list, but I want you to really claim and see, okay, what am I telling myself now in my mind? What do I want to extract? And what beliefs do I want to explore? So we go through this extraction process, and then we're going to explore, what beliefs do I want to actually explore and then embody inside of myself? And you can play around with it. Sometimes you need to mix up the words and stuff to see what actually feels good for you. Even saying pleasure is good, that it's okay to be me sexually, that I get to show up in the way that feels good for me, and by giving myself permission that is good, that my sex is good, my genitals are beautiful, I am sexy. Any of those beliefs, I want you to write them down. And then what I want you to do, all of those negative beliefs, I want you to put them on two separate sheets of paper. Two separate sheets of paper. And all those negative beliefs that no longer serve you, I want you to get rid of them. And one of the best ways that I love getting rid of stuff, that negative belief stuff, is I write them down and then I burn it. I get a little bucket. So safety, little disclaimer, Dr. Chelsea Page is not responsible for any house fires that happen during this. But you want to burn it, or you can even, this happened in one of the programs that I was a part of a long time ago where she had recommended writing the negative beliefs or the things you want to let go of on a piece of toilet paper. So then you write it on the piece of toilet paper and then you put it in the toilet and then you pee on it and you flush it down. It's just like, I'm done. I'm out. I'm getting rid of this. So what this does is this signifies to your mind that this is something that you were releasing and letting go of. So we want to release those negative beliefs that you have in your mind, and then we want to start really playing around with the positive beliefs that you have. And on that piece of paper that you write those down, I want you to start reading them to yourself every day. I believe that my sexual self gets to come out and play. I believe that my genitals are beautiful, that my pussy is beautiful. I believe that a kiss just gets to be a kiss. I believe that I can shave or not shave or get a wax if I want to, right? I get to do it my way. I believe I get to do it my way. I believe that how I want to express my desire and my sexual self, that's okay, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. My sexual self, I believe that my sexual self is a beautiful snowflake that gets to be expressed uniquely, that is mine, that's like nobody else's. And if we keep doing the cookie cutter way, that doesn't work. We got to do it your way, because that's where your full power comes from. Yes, I love this, burning those negative beliefs. Yes, it's a releasing, it's a letting go. So we want to do that. And I want to, let me double check my notes again, because we're just wrapping up here, ladies, and I'm so glad that you are here through this with me. So I want to, yes, do the negative beliefs. We want to reframe those. What do you choose? What do you want to believe? And how do you want to show up? And I want you to even ask yourself right now, can I imagine myself and my sexual self? How would I want to show up? How do I want to feel, right? Oftentimes we forget how we want to feel, because if we follow the feelings, this actually can really help support our thoughts and our actions that we have. Is it, I want to feel, even let me know in the comments here, I want to hear these. I want to feel free in my sexual self. I want to feel love for my sexual self. I want to feel happy in my sexual self. I want to feel playful with my sexual self. I want to, like, how do you want to feel in the expression of your sexual self? Because when you ask yourself this, then you can really then check in if how you're showing up and what you're thinking is in alignment with this feeling that you want to feel. So if you want to feel sexually free, and you get a thought that, no, you can't ask your partner to have sex right now because you've gained 5 pounds and he probably doesn't like your body that way, and I have to be perfect about that way. It's like, whoa, let's stop that and ask myself, is this in alignment for that thought that I said that I want to feel free in my sexual self? Is that having me feel free right now, or is that having me feel restricted and suppressed in my sexual self, and I'm telling myself how I should be showing up sexually? So we start to then stop our thought patterns in that and get to shift it toward what you actually desire, what you desire. And I want to end here today with a little kind of visualizations. We want to really activate the mind, because I want you to walk away with today not only that homework, so I want you to do that homework and try to do it tonight, and don't make it perfect. This is something that I often do with my homework. It's like, oh, I have to make it perfect, and I have to really sit down for a long time to really process all that. Just give yourself even 5 minutes tonight to just write down the negative beliefs and then the positive ones that you want to feel. You're starting to give more space to your sexual self, so it's okay if it's not like 2 hours of journaling. If you go 2 hours of journaling, fan-freaking-tastic. But if it's 5 minutes of journaling, fan-freaking-tastic, right? There's no better or worse. Here, size does not matter here, and we just want to give space. That's there. So I want to leave you ladies here too with just a little visualization. And if you are in a space where you can, sit and close your eyes and, really sit with me here. You can come back later if you want to. But I want to really activate your mind in starting to create this vision for yourself of how you want to show up sexually, how you want to, and start imagining yourself. So I'm going to turn on a little music. This is only going to be like 3 or 4 minutes that's there. And I want you to really sit in this and start to imagine and really listen to me and start activating into your mind and creating that vision. Because when we hold a vision in our mind about how we want to show up sexually and how we want to have that sexual relationship with a partner, if that's what you really desire in yourself, when we hold that vision and we start to then we extract the things that doesn't support that, right? Doesn't support your sexual self. And we start to add in the beliefs in your mind that really support that vision. But if we don't know what we're walking toward, then we're just going to kind of be wandering the forest. But this is always changeable and editable, is that a word? Editable of your sexual self. You get to shift it. You get to change it. So I'm going to turn on our little music here, and I want you to just take a big deep breath and just open yourself into starting to create your vision and imagining yourself showing up in the way sexually that you want to. Alrighty, let me turn this up. So take a big deep breath. Close your eyes. And I want you to imagine your sexual self showing up with freedom, with playfulness, with flow, knowing that any way that you want to show up sexually is beautiful, is wonderful. There's these beliefs on the inside that there has never been anything wrong with you sexually. There's magic in your sexual self. There's magic in your pleasure. Your pleasure is your power source. And the full expression of that is beautiful. Just imagine yourself walking through each day with these beliefs in mind. That there's power in your sexual self, beauty in your sexual self. She gets to show up. If she wants to, she can say no if she wants to. That it's safe to show up sexually. How does it feel to show up this way? To show up with yourself sexually and self-pleasure without any goal in mind, just to feel your body, to just feel the pleasure, to see how much it can expand in your body, in you and around you, to experience showing up with a partner, with freedom, that you don't have to do anything, you don't have to look a certain way, you don't have to be a certain way, you just need to be you. And just the freedom that provides you. That it's okay to even talk about sex, it's okay to have a conversation about sex, that there's no shame in it. There's beauty in your sexual self and you know it. How would you show up knowing this to be true without a doubt? That your sexual self is beautiful and wonderful and vivacious and powerful, and that even though this part of you might have been suppressed and shamed and try to be controlled by parents, religion, society, movies, and held prisoner even in your own mind okay that it's been restricted up to this point, because you are changing, you are shifting. And I want you to end here with a declaration to yourself, to your sexual self, that you will honor this part of you, that you will show up in support of your sexual self, and you will be continuing on this journey that you started here today, and it doesn't end today, that you will honor this part of you. Take a big breath and come back to me here. Whew, that gave me all the chills, even inside myself. I love it. I love it. Okay, ladies, we are ending here today. Let me know how you're feeling at the end of this, and I am so excited that I get to see you tomorrow. So tomorrow is day 2. We will talk about the body. We will talk about how your mind and your body have this beautiful co-creative relationship and supportive of your sexual self, and how your body, what is authentic to your body and support of your sexual self in your body, and understanding even the biological side of things. So we'll be talking a lot about the body piece tomorrow. I'm feeling so peaceful, and I'm sending so much love to you and your sexual self, and I cannot wait to see you ladies tomorrow. And remember, this will be in the unit section. If you want to come back to this, you'll have all week to watch these. So if you're watching this on the replay, you will have until Saturday to watch this, and then the whole group's going to come down, so you won't have access to this afterwards. So I will see you tomorrow and the next day. Connie, you are so welcome, beautiful, and I will see you tomorrow. And enjoy, and just see how long, just whatever feeling you have, holding on to that. Do the homework, and I'll see you tomorrow, ladies. All right, bye.